Welcome to another video. I'm so happy you're here and I'm very grateful for you being one of my viewers. So today's video is a little bit different. I know that I say this in every video. I say that every video is different, and they really are, because I'm learning as the channel grows. So this video is going to be all about how to actually become a copywriter. Like, what do you actually do to get from where you are now to become a copywriter, to make money as a copywriter. So I'm going to tell you about the things that you should learn when you're trying to become a copywriter, the things that you should do to actually get into copywriting, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about developing your skills and your mindset. So if you're ready to get some practical, real world advice from a fellow copywriter who's been where you are right now, then keep watching this video, because I'm about to tell you how to become a copywriter. No BS, straightforward. Let's go. Okay, so this part of the video is going to be about how do you actually learn to become a copywriter, right? Because you already know that you want it, so now the most logical step is to pick up the skill. If you're like me, you don't have a journalism degree or creative writing degree or any kind of degree. Maybe you weren't even that good at literature at school, and I have to tell you that I was probably one of the worst people in my class. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't find words interesting, and writing stories or essays, it just wasn't my thing. I actually was one of the things I didn't like about school. So, and even when I came across copywriting, it's not the writing part that caught my attention. It was more the fact that I was able to kind of use my creative skills and problem solving skills to create these beautiful sales pages and emails and stuff that would actually drive results to people. So it's not so much about writing, in my opinion, and I think people will disagree with this maybe, but it's not so much about writing. It's about being able to connect with your prospect, being able to really put yourself in that person's shoes and then look at the entire marketing strategy of your client and of the product, and then through that kind of compassion and empathy and connecting with the prospect, and then also connecting with your customer's side of the story, you kind of build a bridge where they both meet in the middle and they're able to make a transaction. So when it comes to learning copywriting, and I'm going to tell you from my experience of how I started learning, and through the perspective of time as well, because it's been a few years since I reached for my first copywriting book. So I feel like I can give you some practical advice. So the first thing to mention will of course be books. Books are so amazing because you have different authors, different copywriters that sat down and took the time to explain their working process and their thought process when they're creating a copy. So some people might look at books and copywriting books and even courses, and they will tell you that it's a lot of regurgitated information, and that is true. That is true. And the only reason it's regurgitated information is because copywriting is what it is. There are specific methods that we use and specific formulas that we can choose to use. It's not mandatory though. But the thing is that each copywriter is different. It's kind of like art, each artist has their own style. Well, it's the same thing with copywriters. Each copywriter is going to have their own style. So when they write this book, essentially what they're doing is, yes, maybe they're regurgitating the basics of copywriting, but at the same time, they're putting their own twist to it. So what you have to do is, when you're looking at these books, what you have to do is you have to find an author that you connect with, the copywriter that you connect with. Maybe look at their work, maybe look at their website, just see if you actually feel them as a copywriter, and then read a few different ones and see which ones you connect with more. I'm going to leave some recommendations of like books that I actually thought were not regurgitated information, that were kind of changed my thinking about copywriting and changed the way I work. I'll leave a list that will get you started, and you can read those, and then you can also at the same time research your own, and literally to do copywriting research for the materials to learn to copyright is so easy. All you type into Google is something like the best copywriting books, and everything will come up for you, and you'll have a huge list to browse through, so you have lots to do. Now, when it comes to courses, you have to think of courses the same way you would think of a book. It's just that it's in a different format. So if you learn better through something like this, what I'm doing for you now, where I put on I create a video, and then you sit down, you listen to me, you get some additional materials. Essentially, this is what a course would be like. You would just have a more structured approach. So it's basically a book that was turned into a video course, or however the course is administered, but usually it would be a video. So if you learn that way better, think about buying a course, or looking at videos and channels like mine where we offer advice and education for free. Now, another thing that I'm going to recommend is signing up to newsletters. Like, these are amazing, these are amazing tools. Newsletters are absolutely amazing because you basically get an example of copywriting from a copywriter or a marketing expert right to your inbox, and you can read and analyze it. Even if you're not planning on buying whatever they're selling through the newsletter, you get free examples of their work delivered to your inbox every week or every day or however. So I would 100% recommend that you, when you're coming across these course creators or these book authors, sign up to their newsletters and keep a separate inbox, or maybe keep it in your actual inbox, but just make sure that you actually open them and you go through them and you analyze them and you listen to what they're saying, and you analyze what you like about the email, what you don't like, etc. And to get you started, I'm going to leave a link down below for my own newsletter, in which I basically give tips on copywriting to copywriters like you. So if you want to receive free tips on copywriting right to your inbox every week, then make sure to join my email list down below. I will be so happy to have you and be in touch with you. Okay, the next thing I recommend you absolutely spend time regularly to learn is general marketing, digital. Well, this depends. If you want to work in print, for instance, then the things you will learn will be a little bit different to digital marketing. But if you want to work the way I work, for example, completely remotely with online content mostly, then learn about general digital marketing. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my other video about writing SEO copy and about writing Facebook ad copy. If you haven't checked those out, make sure to go to the description and look at those videos. They're super long and super in-depth about writing Facebook ads and SEO copy. But anyway, the reason I recommend that you learn some digital marketing to get a good understanding of what it actually is that your clients are working with. And so I was quite fortunate because I find digital marketing interesting anyway. So I used to learn it just by myself, in my free time, to read about all the different aspects of digital marketing. It's also because I consider myself an entrepreneur. So I'm very interested in growing businesses and, having separate income streams, multiple income streams. That's why I always thought that digital marketing, learning about digital marketing, is never going to be money wasted or time wasted. So for you as a copywriter, it makes a huge difference when you go into a conversation with a client who is talking about their funnel, their marketing strategy, their paid ads, their organic traffic, and you understand everything they're talking about. And not only can you create copy that fits right into their existing marketing strategy, but also you can actually have conversations with them. You can learn from their strategies. You can analyze the performance of your copy. You can advise them. There's so many benefits to learning about digital marketing. So like, you will not regret. Not even 1 hour spent learning about digital marketing will be wasted, because you will either use it for your own business and advertising yourself as a copywriter, or you will use it with your clients, and your clients will see you they will literally see you on such a different level comparing to other copywriters. And this is one of the reasons it pays so well to actually learn this. And I pretty much, any client that I've worked with, they've been so grateful, and they freely expressed their gratitude and how happy they were that I was able to advise them on different things and help them with their marketing strategy in general. And also they pointed it out to me that they've worked with copywriters who had no idea about general marketing, and it made it very difficult, and they found that it wasn't a holistic approach to writing copy. It was very focused on that one small part of the business and one small part of the marketing strategy, where in reality it's huge. So please, 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 please do it for yourself, do it for your business, do it for your clients. Learn digital marketing, and there's so many different resources, and like, it's such a huge topic that you really should just start maybe small and go through it systematically and see what catches your interest the most, because you might be really interested in email marketing, for instance, or Facebook ads, and this might become your niche in the end. So go for what interests you the most, and literally it's like a rabbit hole. Like, once you go in there, you'll never see marketing the same again. But I recommend it 1,000. Okay, so the next step is actually getting into copywriting. Okay, so don't make this mistake, and a lot of people do this, and it makes me really sad. You start learning, you buy all these books about copywriting, maybe you buy into a course or whatever else, and then you kind of just keep learning, but you never actually make any steps towards becoming a copywriter or getting paid for your work, for your skills. And this is because most people believe that they need to get to a certain level before they can start earning money as a copywriter, and they don't realize actually the way to get to that level is through writing copy. So all I'm asking you to do is be an action taker. Don't just sit on all the books and, think that you need to learn more and more and more. The moment you read your first copywriting book is the moment you open your first copywriting book is the moment you can start writing copy, because as you go through this book, you're learning, and you already have the skills to write copy, because all you need to do is have the ability to connect with another person. Imagine what it's like to be that prospect in that situation, looking for the specific solution, and then you come across it. What do you want to hear? What things do you want the page to say to you, correct? So this is literally all you need, and the books are just the additional cherry on top of the cake that will help you really hone down on your skills and get really good at copywriting. So do the thing, like actually start writing. But you might be wondering, like, how do I actually start? So let's say, yes, I have the books and I've read and I'm ready and I want to start getting paid for copywriting. What do I do? There are a few options that are available to you, and I'm going to list them to you one by one so that you can think about them and maybe try some of them, maybe try all or just one, see what works best for you. The first thing I could recommend to you is doing an internship. If you're in a position where you're working and you also have time on the side to spare for an internship, even if it's something like part-time, and you can find a company which is, for instance, it could be a startup. So the reason I love startups for copywriting internships, or why I would recommend them, is because startups are all about new talent, creativity, super quick expansion at low costs. So they're willing to open their doors to somebody who is new and who is willing to learn at a low rate, or if they're at a low wage, or if they're willing to work for free, that's even better, like being an assistant to their main copywriter or something like this. So if you're open to taking a non-paid position or a low-paid position and you have your savings or you have your normal job and that's an option for you, then I would recommend it even for a month or two, just to actually see what it's like and whether you like it or not. Because the other options are more long term, for instance, and they could be a little bit more stressful for you. But an internship, if you're in the position to do it, I'd 100% recommend it. And if I was to do copywriting all over again, I do think this is how I would start. I would save up some money and go into, for a month or two, I would go into a startup and just see how they actually do it, and try to work with as many different channels, or go into an agency, you know, copywriting agencies and Facebook marketing and digital marketing agencies. So this is what I would do. But it's not necessary. Like, I didn't have the option of doing an internship because I quit my job and then I was like, oh my God, I don't have an income. I need to start getting paid. So I went straight into paid work, which is also something that was good. It was a learning experience for me. And I found that I was always doing my best because I knew that my life kind of depended on that. You know, what was my other option? If I didn't do well, my other option was going back to a job that I hated. So I was like, hell no. The second thing is, so this was my method, and I do recommend it because it's such a learning curve, and you will probably learn a lot about yourself and your skills as a copywriter just by doing this method, and that's cold email outreach. So what I basically did is I shortlisted a bunch of companies that I thought I could work with, and then I found the email address of the CEO or the manager, and I would basically send them a cold email asking for work, freelance work as a copywriter for their company. So in my video on client acquisition, which is going to be linked below, so check it out, I explain how to find like the email address of the person and how to write the cold email, etc., etc. So do make sure you go down there and you actually, because that video goes in depth into client acquisition. But basically that's what I did. I just found a bunch of companies I wanted to work with, and I was sending them cold emails, and that's how I learned how to write cold emails, because I was monitoring the open rates and the response rates and my conversion rates. So I do also recommend that. The next thing is, of course, job boards. So you can just apply to work as a copywriter for a company or an agency. And some companies and brands are actually looking for freelance contractors, freelance copywriters who are basically contractors. So you don't have to give up your freedom and work on a 9 to 5. You can find freelance gigs on job boards as well. And the next thing would be advertising platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, where you as a freelancer advertise your services. That's also something I recommend. I'm just starting to play with it, but I've already had a couple of really good and interesting orders. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to crack how to increase my conversion rates on Fiverr and my click-through rates. So once I actually figure it out, I'm going to make a video about it, but I'm still playing around with it, trying to find the best and the quickest way to grow on Fiverr. And then my last recommendation for actually getting into copywriting would be through agencies like Hoff. So Hoff is a copywriting agency. I've made a whole video about working for Hoff. I'll also link it down below. So working with them was quite fun, and the entry requirements for that job were super low. I just submitted a sample that I've written basically for fun. I don't think it was even for a real client at the time, and they liked it. They accepted me. The onboarding was easy. There was no interview, like a video interview. They just onboard you via email. You get the training docs. You can learn a lot through Hoff. And the last thing would be networking, because most of my clients come through networking. And I know what you might be thinking, like, I don't have friends who have businesses, or my social media isn't live, and there's nothing interesting about my social media, my LinkedIn, or my social networks, and I don't see how I could get clients there. This is what I used to think as well, and especially because at the time my network was so small and it was focused around my family and like really close friends. And yeah, they were all employees. They didn't have their own businesses that could, so they could hire me as their copywriter. But then as I started going to different networking events or meeting new people, so I actually went out of my way to meet new people, I would just mention my job, and through that I got a lot of orders. I'd say that like at least 40 or 50% of my work comes through networking and people that I met, people that recommended me, clients that recommended me. So that's something that you definitely want to put effort into. But at the same time, don't stress yourself because there are other ways. Okay, so now that you know what to learn and you know how to get into copywriting, what do you do in the meantime? So while you're learning and while you're, maybe sending cold emails out or networking, what do you do in the meantime to give you the best possible chance to a head start in copywriting? I'm going to divide this into two sections. One is going to be called skills, and the other one is going to be about your mindset. Now, when it comes to skills, of course, you need to keep writing to develop your writing skills and get more comfortable and see what works and what doesn't work for yourself. And sometimes the thing about writing is you will write a piece of copy and then you step away from it and then you come back to it and you read it and you can really analyze it and see what you did well, what you didn't do so well, and what you can improve. So I recommend doing that. I recommend also collecting samples of other people's work. So when you're scrolling through Facebook, you're going to see ads. Like I think every third post on your Facebook wall is going to be a Facebook ad. So make sure you actually read it from the perspective of a copywriter, of someone who's going to work in advertising, who is already working in advertising. What did they do well? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What would you do better? Keep screenshots or keep a file or maybe a Google Drive folder or something with all the different Facebook ads and Instagram ads and newspapers and whatever copy you can find and get your hands on. Put it in there and analyze it and go through it, especially the ones that you really like. Make sure you keep them all so then you can swipe through them when you're working on a project. Maybe you'll get stuck one day and you need some inspiration. All you have to do is flick through your swipe file. There are also websites which exist for that purpose to provide you a swipe file in case you don't have your own. One website is called swipefile.com and then the other one is called swipe.co. I will leave the links down below so you can go straight through to them and actually, have access to these amazing databases of different ads. So the next thing about developing your skills is literally just taking the time and, focusing on what you're doing. So if you decide to, for instance, practice, this is super light. Yeah. So when you're practicing your writing skills, just do it with consciousness, like sit down and actually look at what you're writing and analyze what you did well and what you didn't well, and actually consciously try to integrate the new skills and the new understanding of copywriting into your mind, so that later when you're working as a copywriter, you can actually bring those skills back up and use them. Because what we sometimes do is we say, okay, I just need to write an article a day, and then we forget about analyzing and doing progress. We just want to get it out the way. But actually using your consciously staying aware that you're learning and you want to learn and you want to improve, and consciously analyzing different people's work and your own work is what makes it different. This is the last part of the video, and it's all about your mindset. Now, a lot of people forget that their mindset is the most important thing. Like if there's anything that will ever stop you from having success, is going to be your own mindset. It's going to be you. It's not the world, it's not the competition, it's not the clients, it's not the market, it's not a market crash, it's you. If you don't believe in yourself, there's no way you're gonna have long-term success. You have to believe in yourself and hype yourself up. I was listening to a podcast today about copywriting, and the girl on the podcast, she said, if you're not going to hype yourself up, nobody else will. And this is the most sincere thing you can hear from another entrepreneur, another person who is working as a freelancer and started from nothing. Like, you have to stand up for yourself, you have to hype yourself up, but in order to do that, you have to believe in yourself. So really examine your own attitude towards yourself and your own beliefs. Do you think that you're good enough? Do you think that you have what it takes to be a copywriter? Do you think that people will pick you? Do you think you're better than other copywriters? Like, you have to understand what you believe about yourself if you want to improve. So for instance, if you don't believe that you deserve to be successful, that's going to stain your progress, because you'll do things subconsciously to sabotage yourself, because somewhere deep down you don't believe that you deserve it. If you don't believe that you're good enough, you're not going to go for as many opportunities, you're not going to be open to collaborations and new projects. So make sure you work on your own beliefs, about yourself, and about in general, about success, about money. That's huge as well. If so, for instance, for people like me who grew up in families that didn't have money, we always come out of our household, we go into adulthood with this belief that money is hard to get, or money is dirty, that we don't deserve money, and that money is just for the rich, and we have to just get by from paycheck to paycheck. So if you're in this kind of situation as well, make sure you tackle that mindset, those limiting beliefs, because that's also going to make your life so hard. The moment you drop those limiting beliefs is the moment you can actually progress so easily. But of course, like, working on yourself is a process. It's not something that you can do overnight. So have patience with yourself and have compassion to yourself as well. So examine these things, and then just have the intent to get better and to work on them and to change them. And with time, things will get better, as long as you consciously keep it in your mind. Like, okay, I don't like that I think money is bad, or money is only for, crooks and whatever else. Then you have to consciously just keep that with yourself. And whenever these thoughts pop up, you say to yourself, hey, I don't need this belief anymore. I can drop it, because it's not true. It's not serving me anymore. Maybe it served me when I was poor, and I was a child and my mom would deny me things because we didn't have money. So it made me feel better to make money the bad guy. But now I'm an adult and I don't need these limiting beliefs. What I need to do is I need to change them so that I can have abundance in my own life. Another thing that a lot of people struggle with, and I experienced this myself too, is motivation. There will come days, especially at the beginning, where you don't feel motivated. You don't know if it makes any sense for you to do this any longer, if you're good enough, if you're ever going to get a client, and blah, 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 blah. So what you have to do is just have a clear path. Like, this is what I want. Decide what you want. And then just understand that this is what I want. This is the direction I'm heading in, brick by brick, and I'm going to get there. Step by step, I'm going to get there. I just need to be patient. I need to be consistent, and I need to believe in myself and believe that it's possible. And then you will get there. Like, there's literally no way in the freaking world that if you do these 3 things, so you're consistent, you know where you're going and what you want, and you believe in yourself, there's no way you're not gonna get what you want. Because it's literally like when you go outside and you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to walk to the supermarket. Like, yes, you have to walk. You don't teleport to the supermarket, but if you walk, you're gonna get there. Like, nothing is gonna stop you from going from your home, unless it's quarantine. But you know what I mean. Most cases, and the most likely scenario is that you will get there. And if you don't get there, it's because you will learn that you want to do something else instead, or something better will come your way and completely throw you off the path, and you're gonna be like, okay, and something will happen in your life that will distract you and stop you, but also that is going to be a learning opportunity, whether you actually want it that bad, that you want to continue walking in that direction. So basically, to sum everything up, you have to keep learning, and I'll give you some resources down below. And remember to just find the people that you connect with the most and learn from them. You have to actually start trying to become a copywriter. So yes, go to the job boards, go to Fiverr, start doing something, start taking the steps in the right direction. And then you have to keep working on your skills and on your mindset. This is the most important thing, your mindset. And in all of this, if I could give you like one piece of advice that will make the world of a difference to you, and that I wish somebody gave to me when I was starting, is basically those 4 things. Consistency. If you do something consistently and you don't give up on it, there's no way you're not going to succeed. Believe in yourself. I don't know why I said it like that. Believe in yourself. Like, there's nobody else that can do this for you. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect somebody else to trust you and believe in you? You are great, and you will be successful, and you're an amazing copywriter, and there are clients who are waiting for your talent. So believe in yourself. Know that you'll make it. So be sure. Just have this understanding that, yes, if I keep doing these things, I'm going to get there. There's no way I'm not going to get there. If I don't get there, it's only because something better comes along. But I will get to where I want to be eventually. And use your time well. So this is something that I maybe struggled with a little bit when I was starting, because I didn't know how to manage my time well. But if you learn to manage your schedule, so get rid of things that waste your time. If you spend hours on social media just scrolling through for no reason, get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's gonna save your life. Like, people don't realize this, but we waste so much time on dumb stuff that we don't need to be doing. So if social media is your monster, get rid of it. If you end up spending hours in front of the TV, get rid of that. If you end up spending hours basically doing nothing and you're not able to focus, just be like, okay, for 1 hour straight, I'm just gonna work. Learn to manage your time. You are the master of your own time. Again, nobody else will come and tell you what to do, especially when you start in your own business or starting to work as a freelancer. You need to learn to take control of your time and have some self-discipline in a loving way. So don't be harsh on yourself and, beat yourself up for making mistakes, but in like a loving, fatherly way. Be like, okay, now we're gonna do this. Okay, for 1 hour straight, you're gonna work, you're gonna write, you're gonna copy, you're gonna write copy, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Because if you don't do that, again, nobody else will. Nobody else will. You are basically the boss now, so get to it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit different because I included some motivational stuff and some mindset stuff. And I really, really love this because I know how much difference it can make to anybody who's trying to learn any new skill or change their life in any way. It's kind of you stepping out of the comfort zone. So of course there's going to be some discomfort that comes with it, and if you work on your mindset and if you work on yourself, then you can really have a smooth ride. So that's it for today. Don't forget to join my email list, because that's where I'm going to be sending out more information and more tips on how to become a copywriter, and I'll update you on all the industry stuff and all the stuff that's going on with my business, so that you can learn from my mistakes and from my wins and successes. And then it's also a great way for you to keep in touch with me. So make sure you sign up below, and make sure you give this video a like. You share it if you have other copywriter friends. And also subscribe to the channel if you want to be here. If you want to be here on this journey with me and learn with me, then please stay. You are welcome.